Whatever the next Pokemon game ends up being called is clearly gonna be one of the most anticipated games for 2019 on Nintendo Switch. It's already a pretty packed year with major franchises like Luigi's Mansion and Animal Crossing coming to the Switch, but Pokemon is clearly gonna have a huge presence towards the end of the year. And today we are here to talk about some rumors, some speculation, and maybe discuss whether some of these new rumors are possibly true about Pokemon 2019. Hit the thumbs up and definitely don't forget to subscribe. Links are in the description for Twitter. And with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into some of these rumors here and see what we think. The first rumor we're going to tackle here is about the region that Pokemon 2019 is going to take place in. I will have a link to the Nintendo Soup article where I'm gathering this information from in the description in case you want to check it out for yourselves. To quote Nintendo Soup, they say, to fully understand the origins of the rumor, we first have to return to Pokemon X and Y and Pokemon Omega, Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. Although these games were released years before Sun and Moon, there were hints pointing at the Alola region. For instance, in Pokemon X and Y, there was a mysterious souvenir which hinted at players of Hawaiian nature in the Alola region. And of course, later in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, a poster showing a tropical island teases the tropical nature of Alola. So they do kind of tease what's coming, and they plant little seeds here and there, and people that pay a lot of attention to these things have found something in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. They found like a calendar with a new region that kind of looks like the UK. They do say that based on the shape of the map, it could represent a region that looks like the UK. Another hint that they talk about is Pikachu wearing the crown in this image that you're seeing on screen now. And we know that Pikachu likes wearing things on his head sometimes. It's a thing that happens, but maybe they are teasing the whole UK aspect of the setting for the new game with the crown stuff, because they apparently like to do things like this, little Easter eggs that really hardcore fans can, find and talk about and get the excitement going. I'm pretty sure that none of this is done by mistake. The image that you're seeing now was tweeted by James Turner, who works at the Pokemon Company. But that isn't even the biggest part of the rumor we are going to talk about here. The next part of the rumor comes from Joe Video, a Twitter account. They do gaming stuff. They have over 1 million followers on Twitter. They are complete legitimate. They are a big organization over there, and they have said the following. They claim that the game would feature a redesigned capture system and the best graphics ever seen in a Pokemon game. They added that it's a 100% new type of role-playing game that's scheduled to launch in late 2019. Pokemon Let's Go already gave us the best graphics ever in Pokemon. Does this mean that it's going to kind of keep the same graphics? Is it going to be something completely different? We've heard something as crazy as, hey, the leap from, past Zelda to Breath of the Wild? That is the type of leap that they are looking to go with for this Pokemon 2019 game, and that would be absolutely insane. Now, I would not expect this big open world Pokemon game. That's not what they're saying when they make any Breath of the Wild references and Pokemon. They're just talking about the leap from what it used to be to what it currently is. And I feel like that is totally doable. If you take what you did with Pokemon Let's Go and you open it up a little bit more, and of course change it visually. I don't want it to look exactly like Pokemon Let's Go. For me, that would be a little bit of a bummer, because Let's Go is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a new region. I want to see a newer art style, and anything's going to be better than what it used to be on 3DS, clearly, because the Switch is that much more powerful. But it's going to be interesting to see how they do take the UK, or something similar to the UK, and turn that and Pokemonify. I'm creating a word there, I guess. Pokemonify it to fit whatever they got going on there. I'm excited to see what they mean by a new type of RPG game. I don't know what that's going to mean. They're going to change the capture mechanic. I don't know if that is indicating that we're still going to hold the capture mechanics from Pokemon Let's Go and carry that over, or if this is going to be something completely new. And if it is something completely new, what could they do? What kind of changes and refinements could they do to what we know in the core Pokemon series as far as catching goes? Yes, you can beat down a Pokemon and get them to really low HP and then throw a Pokeball, but how do you change that formula up and still keep it cool and, enough of a hardcore mechanic for people that are super into the game, that have been waiting for this game for a while now? Because a lot of people that are super into Pokemon are waiting. They didn't get Pokemon Let's Go. They decided to wait because this wasn't the one for them, and this year they are getting the one for them. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that the catching mechanic is going to be drastically changed? Do you want it to remain the same? Sound off. And when one of the largest video game companies in France is tweeting about Pokemon, there's a little bit of credibility. Like with all rumors, take this with a grain of salt. Maybe it's going to be the exact same catch mechanic from past Pokemon games. Maybe they carry over the Let's Go stuff, and I know we don't want that, but still, maybe they do. Maybe it's not a whole new type of role-playing game, but that's what they're indicating, and for now, we have no other alternative than to either get excited or to just toss this stuff aside. For me, I'm personally going to get really excited. I think that they want to do something dramatically different with what their next Pokemon game is going to be here, just because Let's Go took so much of what people love about Pokemon and simplified it. So in my dream, best case scenario, they'll take what people love about Pokemon and go the opposite and not make it difficult or anything or crazy, but if they do add some more nuance and some more levels to the complexity of the RPG elements, I think that could be a really, really fun time. And of course, we can't wait to see what all the starter Pokemon are going to look like and what the new Pokemon are going to be like in general. It's all going to be really cool. But in the meantime, let's see what Zach has to say about this entire topic. He might feel a little bit differently than I do, so let's get into his thoughts now.
Well, I'm very eager to see what becomes of Pokemon 2019, and this idea of mixing things up once again is really intriguing because Let's Go was a departure in the catching mechanic area and in the graphics/world look and feel area, so switching that again, it's bold, it's ballsy, and I think it might be the best move, because if we want this to truly feel evolutionary, then it needs to be totally new. And even though I think there are some really good improvements in Let's Go that I'd like to see carried over, maybe that would feel like it's not too much of a big step, and maybe it would feel like they are leaning too heavily into Let's Go, which hardcore don't seem to want. But let's add some more credibility to all of this. I'm all for a new catch mechanic, I'm all for a new art style, a new world if it is as exciting as Nintendo Soup and Jeux Video claim it to be, but let's bring in King Zell from Reset Era. He is, if you don't know, a very popular member over on the gaming forum who spills a lot of details on Nintendo stuff, and he has a really great track record, some may say even a perfect track record. His big claim to fame is last year before the Pokemon Let's Go reveal, he correctly predicted exactly how that event would go down, the time it would take place at, the format, the 90-minute presentation style, as opposed to a direct, and he even hinted that the 2019 game would be the one to get really hyped for, as opposed to the 2018 release, which ended up being Let's Go. Still a great time, but a nostalgic adventure instead of something brand spanking new. He also correctly predicted the Animal Crossing Switch reveal the day before the Direct, where Isabelle and the game were revealed. So this guy, he's got some sort of insider tip. He knows what's up. And in regards to Pokemon, he says that, I said it before, and I'll say it again about Pokemon 2019. When the guys at Nintendo talked about it before E3 last year, they were hyping it like it's a Breath of the Wild tier game. They said it's the next big step for the franchise, like Breath of the Wild was for Zelda. They are taking their time with it to ensure giving the players something big. Now, there isn't a whole lot of granular detail there, but it does further this concept that they are going super bold and super different with Pokemon 2019. This won't just be, it seems like, Gen 8 in the Let's Go art style with the traditional gameplay loop, and while I expect them to keep most of the formulas and foundations from earlier Pokemon titles, it seems like they might be bringing the big change that I know I've been hoping for, and I bet a lot of you have as well. Someone asked King Zell, please tell me that Game Freak is putting effort on Pokemon this year, and he said, I talked about that before. They said it's going to be Breath of the Wild tier. Now, I don't think this necessarily means that Pokemon is going some crazy open world RPG like Breath of the Wild. I think it's more referencing that it is going to be a Breath of the Wild caliber upgrade. Kind of as Gabe indicated earlier in the video, it's going to be a major step like Breath of the Wild was over Skyward Sword, but I really don't think your trainer is going to be traversing a massive world in the same exact sense. Maybe they will, maybe they'll blow us away even more than we're expecting to be blown away, but the good news here is that you have people in the know from multiple sources, some unnamed, some very specifically named with a great track record in the form of King Zell, stating that this is indeed going to be a gargantuan departure from what Pokemon has been in the past. And if Let's Go felt like an ode to the games from the last decade, it seems like we're about to embark on a brand new adventure not only in location, not only in generation and therefore roster, but also in style. And I wonder how you all feel about that. What do you think this could mean? What are some specifics of a Breath of the Wild tier change / upgrade for Pokemon? Is it just expanding the way that you interact with the world? Is it messing with the gameplay and maybe even the combat? Hey, if the catching mechanic is again going through a revision, what other parts of the game could see tweaks as well? Now, I do have to point out from almost a devil's advocate perspective that this kind of seems a little off to me personally. Not because Pokemon isn't ready or capable of a major evolution, and not because Nintendo doesn't have a track record of majorly improving their franchises once they hit Switch, but just because Game Freak has stayed so tried and true to the traditional Pokemon formula for years, for every single game. And Let's Go was a departure for them, where they brought in co-op gameplay, they removed wild battles, they incorporated motion catching, they added Pokemon to the overworld all over the place, and they messed with the art style in a very successful fashion. So to once again make a completely new style game that sounds like it's an even bigger departure from the traditional games than Let's Go was from what we've seen recently, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like Game Freak's MO, but maybe they are really wanting to turn a new leaf and really wanting to show the world what they're capable of on Switch. We know that they've also got Town coming, so it is a big year for the company, and maybe they're just really ready to expand, explode, and show us what they're completely capable of. It just doesn't sound like a very Pokemon thing. So I'm curious when King Zell and others state that it's going to have all these new features and be such a big improvement, what exactly does that mean? Trust me, I'm incredibly hyped by the idea of an exciting new Pokemon adventure that blows everything else away. I just gotta say that I'm skeptical, and I feel like these rumors may be a little bit hyperbolistic. Let me know what you hope to see and what Breath of the Wild Pokemon means to you. Not the same genre, but just in terms of that level of a departure from what we've come to expect from the franchise. I think it's super exciting, and we'll have to ponder here at SwitchForce exactly what that could mean. We've got a long ways to go before the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we started hearing more and more rumblings as the months move towards E3. So let us know your take in the comments down below, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from the Switch and Pokemon 2019. We will have you covered, so hit that notification bell to make sure you're ready as soon as new info drops. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and are pumped for the game. And until next time, thanks again for watching. For myself and Gabe, SwitchForce out.